To Americans then, as far as the security situation down here, we keep hearing so much across the border, those things are bad. What is the story on that?
Well, living here 17 years, I understand that it's different here. And if you're an American, you don't know how to use your cell phones and, you don't speak the language. And I understand that there's this new fear out there. But, I got to tell you, I recently had a flat tire. And I was so thankful that I was here in Mexico because I knew that the person that was stopping was truly stopping to help me with my flat tire. I wasn't nervous that who is this person? It's getting close to the evening. And in that sense, I feel more at home here because I know that while yes, we've had this petty gangster type crimes that the media is making it into, I know that the overall people here are generally good and they generally help you. And I asked my mother, who's a single woman that owns a house here and lives in the U.S., and I asked her, Mom, are you more afraid when you're in Mexico than in the U.S.? And she brought up something very interesting. She's just had both of these houses remodeled. And she said, in the U.S., this guy came the next day. The third day, he didn't show up. Somebody else came, and she was kind of nervous being in her house with this person she didn't know. Here, she was having it done, and the guy came. She'd never met him before, but she knew he was the nephew of one of the maids that, was married to the security guard. And because of that, we're just like a big family down here. And so, no, I don't feel...
The last point of topic is security. There are problems right now with some security issues on the Mexican side, here in the Tijuana, along the corridor. In
Right, right.
As an American living here, do you feel insecure or do you feel secure?
I don't feel any less or any more secure than if I lived in New York City or if I lived, before coming down here, I lived in Seattle. There's certain parts of Seattle, you don't walk there at night. Los Angeles, there's places you don't walk at night.
May I say Chicago?
And Chicago, you don't walk there in certain areas. So we're no different than any other city or country in the world.
Sure. So at this, have you had any personal problems
No.
with your security?
No. No.
Any friends that have had personal problems?
Let's see, what else? That's a good thing. Well, nobody's had anything stolen or broken into. No, I would have to say no.
Let me ask you this then. We all hear about security problems here in Baja. How have you found this to be? Is it a real problem to you? Have you had problems?
No, sir. We don't feel threatened at all. We feel it's the same as in any large city. We tend to stick to ourselves, mind our own business, and we don't feel threatened. We feel very safe. The people are very kind, as my wife Laime has said. And we just love it here in Punta Morena, in Baja, on the seaside. But no, we don't feel threatened. We feel very safe and secure, and we feel that the problems are being addressed.
The thing about it all is that if you live in another person's country, you have to respect the culture of that country, and you must go with the flow of that country. You just, whatever the country, their way of life, and how the people goes about doing their things, you just have to go with them. You cannot... like myself, I come from Singapore, which is well known for its very strict rules and all that. And no littering or throwing of things. Doesn't mean that now that I come to Mexico, I do other than what my country does. So we have to respect the culture of the country we are going to call our home now.
On another matter, there's a lot of talk in California, and indeed throughout the United States, about security problems that seems to be on a daily basis hitting the newspapers and television news. How do you feel about it? You live here in the midst of all of this reporting. Is it safe? Are you safe? What is your take?
I feel very safe. And part of it, of course, is because Club Morena is a gated community, and so we do have security here. I don't know of anyone having ever had any problems here. But of course, we all read what's in the newspaper and whatnot. But I kind of laugh. I take the San Diego Tribune here, and I open up, and there might be one article about Tijuana or Rosarito. But like the third page in on the left-hand side, they have all of the local news, and it's just one killing after another, or a stabbing, or a fight in the brawl in the bar, or whatever. It just goes on and on and on and on. So when you compare it to something like that, or Los Angeles, or any large city in the United States, yes, I feel very safe here.
In the United States, as you know, San Diego, everywhere else, there's a tremendous amount of conversation regarding the security factor. That you're not safe down here, etc. How do you folks feel about that?
Well, I'm the guy, and I'm an old Army man, 23 years in the Army, and I can be intimidated if threatened, like anybody else, but I'm not intimidated about living in Mexico. I can differentiate between the drug problem, the drugs, that the government in Mexico is having to deal with, as well as in the United States. And I understand the gang mentality. And the idea is just keep your eyes open and go about your business. And there were a couple of small recent incidents, but I didn't attribute any sense of fear or special concern about those. And so I've been all over this planet, and I'm not overly concerned, quite frankly.
In your case?
Well, I probably would think twice about being out late at night by myself. Henry and I both use the free road quite a bit, and I don't feel intimidated on that. I don't feel like I have to use the quota. If I'm coming back after dark, I do, because of the construction on the free road. But I have found everybody to be absolutely helpful, and I haven't had any issues. I go into Rosarito, as I said earlier, with my daughter-in-law all the time. I haven't had any bad experiences. I know that they do exist, but I try not to put myself in that position. And I feel like Descanso is particularly aware of things. The people down the street have an alarm. They left a door open the other day. The alarm went off, and within minutes, there were like 4 cars and 5 or 6 men walking around the house, checking things out. The security people, I see them in the evenings. I know they're out there, and I feel very secure. I haven't felt.
What would you then say to Americans who may be on the edge, I may want to, I may not want to? What would you recommend?
I think it depends on their attitude about life, and it's more basic than being afraid of being here so much as being afraid of everything. We have traveled a lot, and we've been to Europe quite often, and there are bad things that happen everywhere. But this is a lovely country. The people are very friendly. They deserve to be treated in the manner they should be, the golden rule, if you will. And I've always found that if you do that, you end up with more friends and less anxiety.
I would pretty much agree. I wouldn't allow political or issues that occur from time to time in the media to dissuade me from the opportunity to spend time in a country like Mexico. Mexico is very special. The people here are extraordinary. I've seen people from all over this planet. I've never found more gracious people. I've never felt more at home and comfortable. And I think that most Americans, if they will give Mexico the opportunity, it would only provide them a very happy experience. And I would recommend without hesitation.
Well, there you have it. We've interviewed quite a number of Americans living here who have told us their story, and it seems, from their standpoint at least, that there is very little concern for the Americans living here or coming to visit. But you'll have to be the judge of that.